Karen with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a scrapbook layout for Cut to You design team, and I'm creating a bit of an Easter basket layout today with that gorgeous Easter basket cut file, and I'm solving one of the CSI challenges 385 as well. And that gorgeous photo prompt is absolutely my inspiration for this one today. I'm also going back through, if you've been seeing any of my recent videos, I've been going through some really old photos of when Jake was young. All photos I don't have digitally, so they're all printed in a big box just randomly. And as soon as I saw the photo prompt for this challenge, I remembered this photo. It's a cute little one with Jacob in his PJs, surrounded by his Easter treats on Easter morning. And that Easter basket was just such a gorgeous piece. I really wanted to make that layout all about the basket. So prior to me turning on my camera, I have pre-backed all the cut files. The collection I'm using today is another stash busting layout as well, which is one of the reasons why I love challenges so much. It really gives me an opportunity to have a look at what I've got in my stash and have a bit of a play. And I love this collection. This is Cocoa Vanilla, a Bohemian Dream, I think it's called. Mainly that's what I've used for this particular collection. It's got some purples and butterflies and gorgeous flowers. There are a couple of ephemera pieces that I did pick up from one of my other Cocoa Vanilla stashes as well, just to tie a few things in and get a little bit more used up. This is all I have left basically of Bohemian Dream. So partly I'm a little sad, but I'm also happy that I've actually managed to use an entire collection. And I know this collection is quite old and it's been around for some time, but I really do love the colour tones in this one. So I've backed my photo and I'm popping everything up on some foam as well. And this was a super quick layout once I'd got that work done for the backing of the cut file. Now I cut it quite big as well. So for anybody that's new to using cut files and backing cut files, this would be a perfect cut file. It was really simple, really easy. I could use big pieces of one piece patterned paper. The only fiddly sort of bits were those circle sections on some of those eggs in the basket. And the way I back a cut file, I find the easiest is to stick it down onto the pattern paper, and then get my fussy cutting scissors. I use some Tim Holtz scissors, and then I cut around. Now I know there's a number of ways you can do that. Some people like to trace around and then cut just past your trace marks. That doesn't work for me very well. For some reason, although you would have seen me talk about this regularly, that I don't do things straight, but when I've got a pencil mark to follow, I find it really difficult to cut away from the pencil line. I'm hoping I'm making sense there. So I never end up getting it right, and I've got to fiddle with it anyway with my scissors, or I don't actually cut it wide enough. So the basic technique of sticking it down and cutting it out works for me beautifully. All right, so just to embellish this one, I wanted to give a little bit of the florals. So I'm layering up some of those gorgeous Cocoa Vanilla florals as well. And I wanted to make it feel as though the basket had, like a reef around the handle of the basket. And I think it turned out really well. I really love how this one turned out. And I loved putting that bow on that little section there as well. I didn't realize I had one of the bows, and so I was quite excited to find that in my stash. And I thought that was just a perfect way to sort of end that cluster near those eggs. I have popped some of those florals up onto some foam as well for some added dimension. I also have tipped up the edges of the flowers. I've just scrumpled it up a little bit in my fingers just to give the flowers just a little bit more movement on the page. And as I was starting to look at this, I felt that because I'd taken up so much room with the cut file, and that's one of the other great things about a cut file as well. It gives you the opportunity to, sometimes you've only got one spot to put your photo or to your embellishing. And I really felt that it was missing the thirds. Now I tend to, when I'm embellishing, do use either a triangle version of thirds, or I have my embellishments in such a way that there's always sort of 3 clusters in some way. And I felt that I was only going to have 2 for this one, but as I was progressing through, I felt it really needed that extra cluster to the top left-hand side because I'd angled that photo. So I'd angled the photo away a little bit from the basket, so it sort of became a little bit disjointed there. And I felt that putting those flowers on that little bit of a curve, now I didn't put a lot compared to the other 2 clusters, and my clusters are sweeping around the page now. And what I also did is the clusters are different sizes. So if you see there on the right hand side, that cluster goes quite a way up around the basket handle. The one on the bottom on the left is certainly smaller, but it is still quite a large one. And then I kept that smaller size. So I really feel that that balances out the page. And then of course, my love of butterflies will never go. So I added a few butterflies around the page as well. And just to add a little bit of shine, I've added some gold splatters just around the areas where the, as you can see there, I'm putting it around the areas where the clusters are. Oh my goodness, that was hard to say out loud. And that is pretty much all my layout. So super simple, and I think really elegant and beautiful. I really love how this one turned out. I've got my close-ups. And as always, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I will leave in the description box below the link to the blog that will give you all the links to the store so you can grab one of these cut files for yourself. Again, I want to thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.